Christianity and Islam, whatever similarity might be there, are superficial. There may be superficial similarities, but they are fundamental dissimilarities. The dissimilarities are fundamental. And what makes them fundamental is because of the self-understanding of the Christian faith. The Christian faith is a bloody religion. At the heart of the Christian faith is the one that bled away on the cross. If you take that out of the Christian faith, whatever else you have is not Christianity. And why we cannot take that with any kind of levity is because it's a historical claim. You cannot say that somebody died, was buried, and was raised from the dead, and somebody else comes and says the person didn't die, the person wasn't buried, the person did rise from the dead, and you want us to agree that two of us are not saying anything significantly different from each other. Are you okay? You know, when Jesus was about to go to the cross, part of the things he said was that it was for this hour that I came into the world. Everything that Jesus did from his birth all the way to that point was to find its fullest expression. The crescendo, as it were, was the cross. If you take that away, whatever else you have is not Christianity. Then you could even have the Jews in Judaism that would say that we grant you that Jesus Christ lived, and it could be all the other things you have said before the cross. We even grant you that Jesus Christ was crucified. We grant you that Jesus Christ was killed. We grant you that Jesus was buried. But after he died and he was buried, he stayed dead. Okay, what happened to his dead body? His disciples stole the dead body. That was the Jewish polemic that came up in the years following the resurrection of Jesus. Incidentally, and if you like, funnily, that is proof positive that the tomb of Jesus was found empty. The fact that they had to find a way to explain it means that it was a fact. Are you with me? The mere fact that they were looking for how to explain how the tomb of Jesus came to be empty means they were granting that the tomb indeed was empty. And the disciples of Jesus and the apostles of Jesus that were too scared to identify with him while he was alive, it's unconscionable to imagine that after he had died and he had been buried, suddenly they got boldness to go and attack the tomb that had military Roman soldiers guarding it. How many disciples do you need to be able to pull that off? Where would they be? Who would they be? They would include who and who? The only explanation that makes sense of that fact is the explanation that the followers of Jesus gave. And it is that God raised him from the dead. So as close as we may be with Judaism, is not close enough. Because these three things I have said, if you don't have one of them, you don't have any of them. What are they? Deity, death, and resurrection. And at the very least, it's obvious that the last two are historical claims. The death of Jesus is not an idea. That's a historical claim you are making. You are saying at a particular time T, on a particular day D, in a particular place P, Jesus Christ gave up the ghost. That's what you are saying. That is a concrete assertion that you are making. That cannot depend on how you see it. It cannot be true that Jesus both died and also didn't die. So if somebody said he died, another person say he didn't die, both of them cannot be right. Both of them might be wrong. On the grounds that maybe he never even existed. If he didn't exist, you couldn't talk of dying or not dying. Both of them can be wrong. Both of them cannot be right. At the very most, only one of them can be right. Because this is not literature. You are not trying to interpret things fall apart. Or the trial of Brother Jerome. That's not what this is. This is not Macbeth. That you can say, well, you can even interpret Macbeth in ways that Shakespeare himself never anticipated. Like the man that wrote the story, what you have made out of the story now did not cross his mind when he wrote it. And in the literary field, those kinds of things are allowed. Am I? Yes, they are allowed. But not when you are making a historical claim. If you are saying somebody died, that is a claim that is either true or it is false. That person cannot both have died and not have died in the same sense. So, ladies and gentlemen, it's not tolerance. Okay? It is not tolerance to say, well, it depends on how you see it, and let us not make a fuss out of this matter. It's not tolerance to say we are both on the same track. That's insanity. That's not tolerance. And you do despite. You actually insult the blood of Jesus if you toe that line.